Not with us today is Ms. Gordon. Next item on the agenda, prior, would you please bow your head for a moment of silence? Remember Ms. Gordon, she had surgery. Remember when you heard Dr. Moreno, that are kinfolk that are very ill. And remember your loved ones and the ones that have gone before us. Amen. Go to item number 6, pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We go to item number 4, the superintendent celebration, Ms. Silva.
Good evening, trustees, community, and staff members. This evening, as always, we like to start with our superintendent celebration. And first on the agenda, we have Principals Month in Texas. And Governor Abbott had a proclamation to honor our principals in Texas. As you know, school leadership is vital in everyone's success. So at this time, we'd like to take an opportunity to recognize our leaders. They give so much to our students and our staff in our district. We can have Ms. Cook come forward, please, and read a special message to our principals.
Thank you, Ms. Silvis. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. National Principals Month recognizes the essential role that principals play in making a school great. Each October, we seek to honor those unsung heroes for their tireless efforts in pursuit of excellence in education. The district has 7 campuses, led by 7 fearless leaders, who make Robstown ISD a great place to be and a great place for students to learn. We now know important principals are to the success of their schools and each and every student. During this month, we designate a special time to honor the work that school leaders do every day and tell them how much they mean to their faculty, staff, parents, and students. Tonight, we would like to recognize before you the crucial role principals play in overall success of the school district. Principals, we thank you for your remarkable work you do as a school leader, and we look forward to celebrating you, not just this month, but for the work that you do year-round. As I call your name, please come forward. Robstown Early College High School, Sylvia Romero. Crossroads Academy, Tony Bonilla. Seal Junior High, Maribel Trevino. Ortiz Intermediate, Anissa Chavera. Robert Driscoll Elementary, Manny Luna. San Pedro Elementary, Laura Cueva. And last but not least, Lock Beach Elementary, Angel Lopez.
Okay, we do have certificates for all our principals. However, since Dr. Moreno's not here, we would like the opportunity for him to give you the certificates personally when he returns. Okay, so again, thank you all for all that you do. We sincerely appreciate your efforts, your dedication to our students and our staff.
You want to get in the middle, folks?
Well, he is right now.
Oh, he's there? Oh.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Next, we have the Human Resources Month. And I'd like to read the proclamation that Governor Abbott made in the state of Texas. And it reads like this: in Texas, we place immense value on our youth, for they are the future of our state and nation. In order for them to fulfill their potential, we must ensure that each and every young Texan receives a challenging, well-rounded education. Every day, human resources professionals across Texas greatly contribute to ensuring students receive the highest quality of education possible. There is no limit to what students can accomplish when they are immersed in an educational environment that is rich in achievement and composed of skilled teachers and school staff. Human resources professionals help create these fundamental surroundings for students by executing effective practices for hiring high-quality staff and providing other various and much-needed services to students, teachers, and administrators. At this time, I encourage all Texans to join in celebrating the many contributions of human resources professionals and to learn more about how they support our educational system by continually evolving their strategies for success and taking on new challenges. Therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, do hereby proclaim October 9, 2019 to be Texas Education Human Resources Day. So, there's Ms. Cook in the back. Thank you. Hey, next we have a really special recognition for one of our students from Seal Junior High. And I have the honor of going to the play myself to watch him in action, which was so exciting, extremely proud of how he represented Robstown Independent School District and Seal Junior High. At this time, I'd like Ms. Cook to come forward and tell us a little bit about Vicente Ibarra.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Ms. Silvis. Before you, you have a copy of the playbill that was given at the Harbor Playhouse. So as you flip through that, the first page is the cover photo of the play itself. It's Matilda. Very, very cute story for, has everybody seen the movie, Matilda? Yes? Very cute movie. The next page that you have is his photo that was printed in the playbill. He's on the second column and he's the third student, the big smile. And as you can see, there are a lot of students that participate in this play. And so I'm going to share with you in a little bit why it's such a point of pride for our students here in Robstown to be participating in something this big. And the last page that you have is his bio. And it just made me so proud to see this in the bio. And I just want to read to you what it says, because it says that Vicente is honored to be making his theatrical debut. He is an outstanding 7th grader at Seal Junior High in Robstown. Vicente enjoys reading, playing video games, and taking dance classes. He would like to thank his family for their encouragement. When I read through this, Vicente was the only person that put where he went to school and where he was from in his community here in Robstown. So it was so nice to see that and just a really big point of pride to read that in such a prominent publication. So I do want to read a little bit about Vicente. And as you know, we're here to recognize a student who has literally shined in the limelight. Vicente is a 7th grader at Seal Junior High, and you may remember him for being recognized for his role in Destination Imagination. That team secured a spot to perform at the state competition last year. So it's no surprise that when Vicente tried out for his very first time at the Harbor Playhouse in Corpus Christi, he got the prominent role of Bruce Bugtrotter. And so there was one of 9 roles that are listed as lead roles in the play. So for his very first time, he was one of 9 out of all those people who got a lead role. And so I do want to share with you the synopsis of the Matilda play. And she's a little girl and she has astonishing wit. She has intelligence and powers. She's unloved by her cruel parents, but impresses her school teacher, the lovable Miss Honey. Over the course of her first term at school, Matilda and Miss Honey have a profound effect on each other's lives, as Miss Honey begins to not only recognize, but also appreciate Matilda's extraordinary personality. Matilda's school life isn't completely smooth sailing. The school's mean head mistress, Miss Trunchbull, hates children and just loves thinking of new punishments for those who don't abide by her rules. But Matilda has courage and cleverness in equal amounts, and she could be the school pupil's saving grace. So as we're watching this play, seeing the play myself, I, along with many other staff members, went to support him, and it was such a proud thing to see him up there. And for those who are not aware, the play ran from August 30th all the way until October 6th, totaling 17 performances. So he had to give up a lot of time to be a part of that, and for a 7th grader, this takes a lot of hours and a lot of dedication with those play rehearsals. And he spent his weekends bringing smiles and laughter to hundreds of audience members. We watched Vicente as Bruce. He ate a huge chocolate cake, he sang, he danced, and he represented his school and his community with such pride. We are proud of Vicente, and we wish to honor him tonight before you as an outstanding student. And he's wearing his Matilda shirt. Yeah, you might want to get to the middle.
That's what Ms. Martha's laughing over now. She's talking about a part in the play that's just making her laugh.
Oh, the verb? The verb. And he is, his mother is one of our staff members, Miss Roxy Vada, who's a teacher at Robert Driscoll. You can stand up, Miss Vada. Okay, next we have Proud Hero Picker Award. Ms. Cook.
I'm about to close my rings on my watch. Steps to the podium. Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Ms. Silvas. Always a nice thing to celebrate the amazing work that our employees are doing here at Robstown ISD, so it's a very special time that we bring to you the Proud Hero Picker Award. We have 2 special employees that we'll be recognizing tonight, and as you know, the Proud Hero Picker Award, you can be nominated by community members, supervisors, colleagues, even students can submit nominations, and I always like to read to you what is said about them because those kind words really truly come from the heart when we take the Proud Hero Picker Award. So I'll go ahead and read the first one. All teachers deserve this award, but she has really stepped up and she is an integral part of our team. She is always thinking of ways to make learning fun for her classroom. She is constantly making something or printing or laminating resources for her students. I know that she works hard in her classroom and at home when she's supposed to be off. When she joined Robstown ISD, she was fresh out of college, and since then, I have been able to see her grow into an amazing and dedicated teacher. As lead teacher, sometimes I get some crazy, can we really pull that off ideas? And she's the first person to say, yes, let's do it. Then she usually comes back with an even bigger idea. I'm lucky to have her at my campus and on my team, and my daughter is lucky to have her as her teacher. And Robstown ISD is just as lucky to call her one of our own. Thank you, Ms. Colby.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda, for all that you do and for our students. Congratulations.
Got you.
That's an
This person is always willing and ready to go above and beyond. He will stop whatever it is he's doing to help a student or a staff member who's in need, whether that is carrying a box for a teacher or cleaning up a spill. He loves his job and he takes pride in ensuring our campus is clean and always presentable. You will find him encouraging our students to do their best and thanking them when they show kindness. You might even catch him running with the running club, just to give them a little bit more motivation as they enjoy their run. Whatever we need, Mr. Roel Tagle is ready to help. We are lucky to have you on our team. Congratulations, Mr. Roel Tagle.
Item number 5, public participation is open forum that was called to me, need open, pretty much.
Good evening, board members. Today we just wanted to show you a little bit of progress for the things that y'all allowed us to buy this summer. We'll go ahead and get started. This is the first time the pens came in. Just a little bit of livestock equipment, cattle feeders, the water systems that we bought for each of the hogs, and then also lamb and goat headstand. A little more equipment, a cattle chute for administering shots and any other procedures, clipping stands, which you see on the right side, and also a brand new scale. These are the hog pens. We ended up buying 16 pens in total. They are 12 by 6 foot. Lamb and goat pens, each one is 5 by 6, and they're also 10 pens. And then our cattle pens, we ended up buying 6, and they are 10 by 10. Like I said, we just wanted to say thank you for allowing us and our students to have a little surprise for y'all. We have to share students, so not all could make it tonight, but we do have some of our officer team as well as our show team.
It's exciting.
They're cookies. And if we could, just a picture.
Thank you, Ms. Hackman. Thank you, students. Very, very proud. It's great to be able to see what has happened and where we're at and the direction that we're going.
Okay, we're gonna go to, any more people? Can we go to item 6, informational items? Go ahead.
This evening, we have Dr. Wattis with RISD Education Foundation to share a few words with us about the Day of Giving that's forthcoming.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, thank you for giving us this opportunity to share with you some exciting news and some work ahead of us. I'm also going to take advantage of this opportunity to provide you with some information of the annual report to kind of bring you up to date what we've done and where we're headed. So bear with me for a moment here. First of all, I want to thank the Board of Trustees, the school district, and all the staff, the infrastructure for the support that has been given to the foundation. Our foundation would not have been as successful this year as it has been without the support of everybody in the district. The district staff here in the office couldn't be more generous with their time and their help that we need in order to carry out our mission. So we sincerely thank you and appreciate you very much for that. What I'd like to do this evening is provide you with some information about our annual report, and secondly, also some information of our upcoming Red and White Day of Giving. First of all, accomplishments to date. On April 17th of this year, we held our annual luncheon. We netted a profit of $37,199 from that one. And then just a month later, our foundation board really, worked overtime on this one to pull it off. We held our first golf tournament, and that golf tournament netted $13,791. So all total, our current balance in our budget at this point in time is $76,831. Now, we also gave teacher grants. We received 10 grant applications, and we're happy to say that all were approved, high-quality grants, and we awarded a total of $24,278 in grants. The largest grant was for $3,499, and the smallest one was for $1,074. Driscoll Campus received 3 grants. Lots Beach Campus received 4. Early College High School received 1. San Pedro Campus received 1, and Seal Junior High received 1. We also awarded teacher scholarships for teachers who are pursuing advanced degrees. That's another part of our mission. We awarded 2 scholarships of $1,000 each for teachers pursuing an advanced degree. And also, we are awarded 1 scholarship of $1,000 to a teacher's aide that is pursuing a teaching degree. We awarded 12, this is the first year we have done it, awarded 12 first-year new teacher awards of $100 each. These are teachers that came to the school district for the first time, and we wanted to make sure they got off on the right foot. And $100 is not a lot, but I think it's symbolically, it means a lot from all of us from the school district that we appreciate them having chosen our school district to come teach. Total awards this year, total dollars funded for this school year was $28,478. So that exceeded our first year awards, which I believe was somewhere around $5,000. So we're doing well as far as the progress is concerned. What's ahead? Well, by now I'm sure you have noticed some Red and White Day of Giving signs around the various schools, the various campuses. And I believe, Ms. Arana, you have some flyers that you gave to the school board. I'll pass on these after I conclude with my remarks here. This is an event that is coming up on November the 1st. It is a first time that we do this type of fundraising event. And we're looking forward. We've already had a lot of experience in getting it off the ground. I want to personally thank Ms. Eva Arona for really leading the charge in this event. Has been a real driver and planner in getting things done to get this event off the ground. The purpose, of course, is fundraising to raise monies in order to award grants to our teachers and scholarships to our teachers for them to do innovative activities in the classroom. And what we're doing is we are recommending donations of $10, $25 or other amounts. Any amount certainly are welcome. We are working very closely with all of our campuses. We've met with the principals twice, and we've got one more meeting ahead of us. But the purpose of those meetings have been to share with them and obtain their ideas on how best to get the involvement of all of the campuses, the students, the parents, the teachers, and the staff. And we received a lot of excellent recommendations that I think are going to make this a very good, successful event. Donation may be made online. The flyers indicate the online address. You can donate through PayPal or through checks. Each campus will be receiving envelopes with flyers for the students to take home, and they'll have instructions on how they may participate in donating to this first day of giving. And again, keep in mind that all of these funds go toward the foundation being able to award these grants and scholarships. There will be prizes that will be awarded here. The campus faculty and staff will win a 1-week Gene Pass, and also help your classroom teacher win a 1-month VIP parking pass. So if everybody participates, there will be a basket of lottery tickets worth $500. So every $25 donation that is made will be entered into this raffle. You must be 18 years old or older to participate. So look forward to that one. Be on the lookout for all of the publicity that's coming out. Ms. Arana, anything you'd like to add?
No, we just want to encourage everybody, and I know it starts with us here, the administration and the school board as well. So hopefully through the assistance of everyone, passing it on to alumni is also key to get a good donation coming back to the foundation for the teachers. So if you have your friends that you have social media with them, or you have your contact on them through your email or either through texting, pass this on to them, because this is another way to raise more funds, generate the excitement through the community. This is probably, like we talked about it, Dr. Juarez, this is the only fundraiser the foundation has ever had that's gonna involve the whole community. So this will show the appreciation to the teachers. So we welcome everybody to donate.
Are we back to this at City Hall? City
Yes.
Hall employees and all?
He's
three of
gonna,
them?
do you wanna talk?
Yes, I have been addressing the various council of government groups, the drainage district, the water district, the city council. I'll be addressing them as well. The various groups to get them involved in participating in this. So it really is, as Ms. Arona mentions, a really and truly community effort where we can get everybody involved in this one. And so far, we're very encouraged. We have received very good feedback from all of our various entities of local governments in supporting this event. So we have great expectations and great hope that we're going to do very well in this event.
Dr. Juarez, can you give us an update after the event of how much money was raised and how it went?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be glad to give you a report, by all means. Another thing coming up is our usual annual luncheon. That's scheduled for, put it in the calendars, April 15th, 2020. And that will be held at the Orchard Fairgrounds, as we have had it for the last couple of years. Very successful fundraising event for the foundation, so we'll be looking forward to your help and assistance in pulling that off the ground. We have a strategic plan that is a 3-year rolling strategic plan. We just updated it to 2019 to 2022. And there are several details in there that involve, of course, the grants we want to do to teachers and scholarships and other fundraising events that we want to have. But a primary item that we're concerned with there is the need to hire a half-time executive director for the foundation. As we look around the various education foundations and school districts, the way they remain successful and continue to stay alive is eventually getting some permanent half-time or full-time person to handle the office. As the success increases, so does the workload, and a lot of work is needed to follow up in order to continue to stay in business. So we're looking forward to doing that. Just to kind of plant a seed in your mind, what we'd like to see happen is on this half-time person is for the foundation to fund a quarter of that, and for the school district to fund the other quarter. So that might be something that we want to sit down and talk and see if that's possible. Other school districts, that's sort of the way they do it. They half-time pay by the foundation, half-time by the school district, and in the end, everybody benefits. So we'll look forward to some discussions on that topic. Also ahead is our 2019-2020 teacher grant request for proposals. Those announcements have already been released for the grant proposals on October the 1st. And the announcements, the deadline is November the 15th, principals. October 1 and November 15th, the deadline. Please encourage your teachers to submit their proposals. We will be announcing the winners of those grants on December the 16th and 17th of this year. In addition to that, the teacher and teacher aide scholarship request for applications, that will be released on January the 6th, and we will be announcing the recipients on May the 1st, 2020. This year, regarding our board, we have a new board member. She is Ms. Beatriz Charo. She's a grants writer and a city administrator with the city of Robstown. And OA, she's been a great help, so we look forward to her being on our board. Finally, we have 3 primary activities that are coming in the months ahead. The first one is fundraising, and the second one is fundraising, and the third one is fundraising. So we thank you very much for your time. We look forward to continuing to work with you and produce and reward our teachers in our school districts, and especially our students. Thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, Dr. Okay, next we have information, and we have a flyer, trustees, with the schedule for American Education Week that is coming up in November. So we wanted to share the schedule with you early on. It has a schedule of when the open houses are scheduled throughout the district. And then next we have Dr. Ceballos that will share with us the evaluation for the English Language Learners Program.
Chairman of the board, Mr. Silvers, and board of trustees. At this time of the year, I'm required to have a presentation on our ESL bilingual program. Currently in our district, we are providing ESL across the district. we're no longer doing bilingual. That kind of, we had last year as far as our bilingual services, because we don't have enough students per grade level to do that. So the report, you're gonna be able to find it on page 11 on the packet. And then I also have a presentation if you just wanna do it on the screen. Currently, there's two different types of ESL programs. One's called ESL Pull-Out at the elementary and secondary program. And what this program does, it serves students identified as English students of limited English proficiency and English only. English language arts instruction is taught by a bilingual or ESL certified teacher, and students remain in the mainstream instruction arrangement in their remaining content area, which means if I'm in the secondary campus, the English teacher is the ESL or is the ESL teacher. But in the other core areas, with the exception of English, like the math, science, and social studies, is not taught by an English language arts teacher, ESL English language arts teacher. So that program is considered an ESL pull-out program. Currently, that's what we're doing at the high school and also at Seal Junior High. For elementary as well we have the pull-out and we have the content at elementary campus as well. The ESL content serves students that are identified as students of limited English proficient and English only. Instruction is taught by a bilingual ESL teacher. The only difference is all content areas are taught by an ESL or bilingual teacher. So that means all 4 core areas are taught by an ESL content area teacher. On some of the campuses, such as Ortiz, we have both programs going on at the same time, and it's due to the amount of ESL teachers that we have there. So in, I believe, 4th grade, we're doing content, ESL content, and in 5th grade, we're doing an ESL pull-out program. So do you have any questions on that, on those 2 pieces? These are our current numbers for the district. We have in the ESL content pull-out program, last year we had 92 students, and this year we have 111. Parent denials means that the parent signed and request that they not be placed in an ESL classroom. So we had 14 last year, this year we had 13. And one when the parent did not respond either way was 0. So total last year was 106, and this year we have 111. Of the languages that are spoken is Spanish, 105 last year, we have 110 this year. Another is 1 for both years. I had the name last year and I couldn't pronounce the language it was, so I decided just to put it out there on there. I didn't know what the language was actually, so it was hard to pronounce. Last year we did request a waiver because we did not have enough ESL teachers. Last year it was, at Lots Beach, we had pre-kinder, 1st and 3rd. San Pedro was PK and kinder, Driscoll was PK and 1st. And so we had our retired teachers helping out, and then we also provided a lot of training last year that helped. The certified bilingual teacher helped out, I think, at 2 of the campuses, but the whole thing was, what are we doing to train people to become ESL certified? So we used some of our bilingual funding, that was local bilingual funding, to be able to provide some training, and then we paid for their certification once they passed their certificate. So this year we had several teachers that received that certification, so now we're down to possibly requesting waivers this year for Lots Beach PK at 3rd grade and at Driscoll for kinder. So we've done a tremendous job of either recruiting or training teachers. We are gonna have a training that's coming up this week for a group of teachers that are gonna receive the training to become ESL certified, and we're hoping that we can be 100% with our teachers for ESL certification. Some of the things that we're also doing as training for our teachers, we provide the LPAC training, and that's a training on that the teachers need in order to be part of that committee that works with student accommodations because they're English learners. Sheltered instruction training was one that we're looking at, trying to get the service center to work with some of our teachers. We have monthly meetings, TELPUS training. That's one of the key areas that overall that we're going to concentrate not only with our teachers, but also with our administrators, because it is part of a big piece, or actually a small piece, but it also has an impact on our accountability. So we're gonna be working with the teachers and principals on that one. And then we have the Inspire Academy that for any new teachers that need assistance can also be provided that assistance. And then recruitment, what we've been doing is advertising. And also we have our fall recruitment, which is normally at TAMU CC or TAMU. And then we also do our spring recruitment, and we're still, even whether we need them or not, we're still looking. Our goal is always to make sure that our elementary campuses have the teachers first, and that's part of the requirement as far as requesting a waiver. So that's why you'll see on there that our goal is for PKK first. It should be second and third and fourth, because the requirement is wherever it's needed, that's where we should be recruiting first. So that's the end of the presentation, and it's each year, this is about the time that you will be receiving the presentation. Thank you.
And next, we have a list of bills, Ms. Conroy.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, and Ms. Silva. The bills are listed on page 20 to 29. They total $522,336. This is exclusive of payroll. This is just accounts payable bills. Unless you have questions, I'm going to move on to the financials. Any questions?
Can I email you a question?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would like to see another one here.
Sure.
I'll email.
Okay. On page 32, the financials, and again, this is brand new year, so this is only 1 month. We have collected about $500,000 more in revenue than we did last year, mainly because of the additional state funding that we're receiving this year. Our bills ended up about the same as last year, so we ended in September with a surplus of right at $1 million. 101 is food service. Doesn't look like much happened there, but we haven't been billed yet from Chartwells. I just got the bill for August and September, so that'll be in the October bills. They pay for all our food, so the only expenses you see right here are mainly our staff. And then 184 is the athletic department. Page 33 is just a comparison of where we were last year at this time in this month compared to this year. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Under superintendent's updates, Dr. Moreno wanted me to share with you trustees, as a reminder, Monday, October 21st, the team of 8 will be meeting at 6 p.m. And also, we have forthcoming, the parade, the homecoming parade, which is scheduled for Wednesday, October 30th. And he will be notifying you as to the time that it will be scheduled to line up for the parade.
When do we have a training, Ms. Silva?
The training is Monday, October 21st
What time?
at 6. And for the homecoming parade, he also wanted me to remind y'all that after the parade, when we all drive into the stadium, I believe they recognize the board of trustees and the superintendent down in the field. So before, and then you can go and sit and enjoy the burning of the yard and the performances of all our students. But he would be getting in touch with you all to let you know what time to line up for the parade. Again, that is Wednesday, October 30th. And then on Thursday, October 31st, a reminder, we do have early release on that day. Students will be dismissed at 12 noon and teachers will have staff development starting at 1. And that's the update.
discussing consider approval of certification of 2019 tax year. Do I have a motion? Mr. Lopez, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Corona, any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous. We go to item 8, business and support action items.
Okay, discuss and consider approval of court-ordered automatic refund requiring governing authority approval. Ms. Conway.
Good evening again. The board is required to approve any tax refund over $500. This one is actually a court-ordered tax refund. They basically sued and the court said to ask for their value to be reduced. It is $35,000.
That's page 69. Is it page 69?
$53,049.85. Of that, almost $5,000 is penalty and interest. Page 72. It's CBS.
So they get the refund?
Yes, ma'am. But you're still required to approve it. I mean, again, it was ordered by the court, but y'all as a precedent still have to approve that refund before they can write the check.
So the property, CBS property was, the appraisal was low?
Overvalued.
Overvalued.
Yes, sir. And I'll remind you again, this is how we go, why we go back and look at prior values. And in the event that this happens, we can get more state funding because our state funding was best, reported at this level. If we have a lot of court orders and it drops, our state funding goes up. So we'll look at 2017 again.
So the same what CBS is getting?
Excuse me?
53,000?
Yes, ma'am.
CBS is getting back?
Yes,
from
ma'am.
us.
Yes, ma'am.
The value went down.
I'm sorry, what initiated this? Did CBS call the
It
county and
has
say,
absolutely nothing to do with us. They,
No, I know, but did they call, I'm just curious as why did this happen? Did CBS
just
call?
like you can do in March, you can protest your house value.
Mhm.
They protested their value. It, it may or may not have changed.
Mhm.
If they didn't like that change, then they actually go to court and sue for this. So the court decided, yes, the value was too high.
They were valued at 2.8, and it went down to 1.3. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Page 73.
Recommendation?
We recommend that we approve the approval of court-ordered automatic refund requiring governing authority approval.
Recommendation from staff that we approve the court order automatic refund required governing authority approval. Do I have a motion? Ms. Arona, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Lopez, are there any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous. We go to item number 9. Action item, discuss and consider approval of class size waiver.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have in your packet, another class size waiver that we bring to you this evening. And today we are requesting a waiver for Robert Driscoll Elementary. We have one classroom in first grade that is 23. And we also have a classroom, another first grade classroom at San Pedro Elementary that is also at 23. So we have the two waivers.
The recommendation from staff that we approve 2 waivers for, what is it, 23?
Yes, just approve the class size waiver.
To approve the class size waiver. Do I have a motion? I'll move. Move by Mr. Lopez, there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Arona, any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous. We go to the action item. Yes.
Discuss and consider approval of the memorandum of understanding with Coastal Bend College. Ms. Elias?
Chairman, members of the board, Ms. Silvas, good evening. Before you, you have an addendum to the memorandum of understanding with Coastal Bend College. Looks like this, it's a single sheet in front of you. We currently have an active memorandum of understanding with Coastal Bend. However, just recently they sent us an addendum to the MOU, and that is what you have in front of you. What Coastal Bend has done is they've added a high school endorsement to Coastal Bend College pathways. So they've aligned what they offer through Coastal Bend for also the pathways that House Bill 5 requires that we offer at the high school, such as public service, the business and industry, the STEM. And so they wanted to add this as part of their MOU so that we are aware as to how their courses that they offer are either, can be either taken as dual credit or for a certification option or for any other CBC degree options.
Okay, we recommend approval of the 2019-2020 memorandum of understanding with Coastal Bend College.
The recommendation from staff to approve the 2019-2020 MOU of Coastal Bend College. Do I have a motion? Moved by Ms. Hernandez, is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Lopez, any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, unanimous. We go to C, thank you, Mr. Wright. We go to C, the next item.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have before you, the presentation of the 2019-2020 targeted improvement plans. And we shared with you some time back when Ms. Ceballos shared, our results with the board, that we would be forthcoming to the board with our targeted improvement plans. We will be back, to share with the board during the November meeting. We will be bringing forth the district goals along with the district improvement plan and the campus improvement plans. So everything that's tied into the targeted improvement plans, you will then see reflected in the campus improvement plans. So at this time, I'm gonna ask Ms. Ceballos to give us just a brief overview, and then we'll have each principal present their own targeted improvement plan. And you were shared the copies of the full targeted improvement plan. We're not gonna go over the entire plan this evening, okay? That's why we sent those to you last week. But what we're doing this evening is just sharing some highlights, and you'll see in the PowerPoint that each campus will highlight the milestones of the targeted improvement plan. After the campuses review their plans, those that do need to be submitted to receive board approval, will also have the high school present theirs along with Robert Driscoll. Those two plans are not required to have board approval, but we chose that every campus undertake the process because it's a really good process. And that way everyone would be aligned with the entire process and helping us move forward. So Ms. Ceballos, if you can give us a short overview.
No, for sure. I know there's a time limit. Okay, so like Ms. Silvas mentioned, in August when I brought the ratings, final ratings that the TAs posted for our district, I shared this slide with you, and it shows the state accountability as well as the federal accountability. If you notice, some of our campuses are additional targeted, some of them are comprehensive, and others are targeted. Where you don't see on the side of the federal label, then they're not labeled anything on the side of federal accountability, which is a good thing. Every one of those federal labels has different requirements, and as well as NED campuses that we have on the state side, and therefore we're all here to present the targeted improvement plans. So TEA sends us the training. Over the past few years, we have engaged in what we used to know as a continuous improvement process. Since TEA has done some research on effective schools across the state of Texas, and what are those common practices that they engage in daily, and they put a new system, not new, but it's new and improved system together called Effective Schools Framework. And so our principals, as well as the leadership team, went through 2 days of training. The service center did come out to our district because we wanted all our leaders to go through the training. We did ask the service center to provide their services here on site, and they did. And so we had 2 full days of training on the Effective Schools framework. So the idea of this Effective Schools framework is, again, TEA did on-site research across the state of Texas on most effective schools and what they do day in and day out, as well as some theoretical research. There's a couple, they have a list of books that they researched, and then they also asked for stakeholders' input, and they came up with what they call the Effective Schools framework, and this is the model. If you notice in the model, at the core of what effective schools do is they have effective instruction in the classrooms. However, in order for that to happen, several pieces have to be in place. We have to have a high-quality curriculum. The schools have to have a positive school culture. They have effective, well-supported teachers, and holding all that together, they have strong school leadership and plan. So these are 5 focus areas that the TEA says. If you focus on these areas and evaluate the practices within your school and your campuses, and look at, focusing on what's good, the pieces that you have, and improving on the pieces that you need to, then you should be, on your way to improving your overall performance. So our principals, as part of the process to prepare to develop the targeted improvement plan, our leadership team engaged in 3 components of the Effective Schools framework. So TEA said that in order for us to move forward, we had to look at our campus data reflection tool. Okay, and they provide the tools for us. They're all on this huge, their processes and their Excel sheets, and we have to answer all these questions. And so around the campus data reflection tool, our leaders reflected, of course, on their student data. And it's not just this school's year's data, but we looked at longitudinal data, the last 3 years, and what those trends were telling us. In addition to that, we looked at teacher data. How are teachers performing in the tested grade levels, or the tested areas. And then we also looked at our domain data, which is our accountability system. And once we looked at all that data, evaluated where we're at, we then were able to set some goals for our campus. And they'll go through those goals. So after, that was the first piece. So the second piece to the framework is the campus principals evaluated the 5 areas that I shared with you earlier, those 5 areas. And they had to do some campus self-reflections on the practices that happen day in and day out at the campuses. This particular tool comes with those 5 focus areas, but along with that, each area has some key practices that we had to rate ourselves around, those key practices. And in addition to that, TEA provided some success criteria. So it wasn't like we said, oh yeah, we do that. Well, there were success measures. In order for us to say we're well in implementing, or we're at a 5, if that was the rating system, we had to say, these are the, they listed some success criteria that in order for us to say we're good with that, we needed to have these things in place. And so it was no longer like, oh yeah, we do it, or I think we do it. In addition to that, anything that we said we were really good at, we had to have evidence for that. So it's a different system. It's improved, 100%, but it's really, really good. Totally. Yes. And so our campus principals, once again, we aside from the training, we met and did over several days with some work sessions to complete these parts of the accountability of the Effective Schools framework. And then after completing the campus self-assessment, we looked at some district commitments that needed to be in place in order for them to be able to focus on their identified areas and move forward to attaining their goals. I'm not doing justice to this framework because I'm telling you, it's huge. It was really, really good. So after we did all these 3 pieces, then we were ready to go out to meet with their campus leadership team and develop the targeted improvement plan. So the pre-work was done by the principal here with us, with the leadership team, but when we, developed the targeted improvement plan, which is what they're gonna present to you today, I want you to know that was done with, campus input, teacher input. They identified their campus leadership teams, and we went out there and met with, each campus CLT team over the course of several meetings. Sometimes it was, 2 to 3 times to complete the targeted improvement plan. All right, so now I'm gonna call Mr. Bonilla up, and he's gonna share with you what they're gonna focus on this year to move forward.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ms. Silvas, thank you for giving us this opportunity. And before I begin, I have to tell you that this is a very rigorous process that we've gone through. But without the help and support and guidance of Ms. Ceballos, it would have been not nearly as focused and intentional as we've come up with. So I have to give her props and thank her for her help and support that she's given us in the time, many hours that we spent together. And that's just with my campus, but she's done it with the other campuses as well. So kudos to Ms. Ceballos for her help. As you can see, we're trying to move up to a B for our accountability rating goal. And we've come up with this targeted improvement plan, which will focus, there's 3 areas that we're gonna focus on. Our curriculum assessments will be aligned to the TEKS with a year-long scope and sequence. So we kind of broke that down because at Crossroads, we want to be able to have a year's worth of curriculum in one semester, a lot of times, because some of our students are trying to finish a course very fast. And we're also trying to not just do everything on the computer, but do some project-based learning. So having said that, we want there to be enough involvement in student achievement to reach our overall campus domain goals, and our milestones will show that their Crossroads will have a semester-long scope and sequence, units and assessments that will be aligned to priority and supporting standards for all tested subjects. So a year's worth of curriculum into a semester where needed. Walkthrough feedback will reflect campus implementation of curricular process and resources. And our 3rd milestone will be where teachers are proficient at the planning process and delivery of high quality instruction at the level of the rigor of the state standards, which is where we want to end up in cycle 3. Our second part of our targeted improvement plan is objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. The district has come out with a new lesson plan template, which we're using, and there will be a system of effective planning using the new lesson plan template, instructional resources, and a process for campus administration to provide timely feedback on lesson plans. In other words, teachers submit lesson plans, we look at them, give feedback whether it's good or if there's certain areas where we think they can improve. Milestones, cycle 1, the finished product that includes scope and sequence units, assessments, and project-based learning opportunities. Weekly PLC meetings will have a focus on refining lesson plans based on student data and feedback. Again, trying to not rely solely on computer-based programs for the students. Cycle 2, milestones. PLC meetings will reflect planning, engaging in high-quality experiences. A lesson plan and walkthrough feedback will reflect classroom delivery of engaging and high-quality experiences. And then in our 3rd cycle, we want the culture of the campus to support the teachers meeting to analyze data, reflect, adjust, and deliver instruction that meets the needs of each student. And then the last focus area, data-driven instruction, which each campus had to put this down, which is going to be, we would use consistent data practices to track student progress and make instructional decisions that will lead to an overall increase in student achievement, which is just non-negotiable. Our first cycle milestone would be that we'll identify a tracking form and data points that will be included in the form of and implement the student tracking system. So we're going to have a real strong process of being able to track the student data, each individual student, and what they need and how we can help them. Second cycle milestone will be campus leader and teachers will need to desegregate current data and plan for reteaching and interventions, again, what the student needs. And the third cycle will be students will be proficient at tracking their individual progress on data tracking forms, which will result in self-reflection to help meet their goals. So getting to where the students can actually see where they're at. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Seal Junior High.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'd like to share our targeted improvement plan. Just like Mr. Bonilla indicated, it was a very rigorous process that I want to thank central office staff for their support in this process. Our targeted improvement plan, my team and I are really working hard to go from a D to a C. We ended the year with a 67, and we're hoping to get to a 75 and working towards that. So we put some things in place through our target improvement plan to help reach that goal. Our focus area, my team and I, when we discussed and we were being very reflective of our practices and what we did as leaders of our campus, we decided that develop campus instructional leaders with clear roles and responsibilities. What are our roles as department heads? What are our roles as counselors and ourselves as the administrators on our campus? And being very reflective and turning the mirror on us and saying, okay, are we leading the way we should lead, and are we building people in capacity? So we talked about that, and our goal came up to be instructional leadership teams add structure to 2 specific areas. Leading PLCs so that they lead to effective collaborative planning, data analysis, and reteach plans, and effective and regular ILT meetings so that we are more strategic in how we plan our time. Our district, has given us this great opportunity to be able to plan every Wednesday for 2 hours. And that is a lot of planning time. So our discussion was, are we utilizing that the way we should? So we changed a lot of things, and we were reflective, and we came up that what we needed was a common structured PLC agenda. That is our first milestone, and we said, what's happening is you have department head meetings during those PLCs, and they weren't common, they weren't aligned. You had ELAR looking at things that social studies wasn't, and science. So what we decided was there needed to be a framework where we were all looking at the same things. Like, what is it that we're teaching this week? What does it look like? How's the instructional delivery? What are the resources? How it's being aligned? And being very strategic on our conversations with PLC. So that was our first milestone, is establishment of reoccurring weekly IoT meetings along with a structured PLC agenda. So we meet as a team every Monday, and we talk about things that are going to be on the PLC agenda for Wednesday, and we're very intentional, very purposeful. Then our second milestone is lesson plans will include 2 engagement activities per week. In the reflection process, we noticed that we were so focused on the learning and then the assessment piece. There was an integral part in the middle, which is that engagement piece, is are our students being able to apply what they learned? We're going from here to here. So now our focus is really on the engagement and the connect piece. So we decided that our lesson plans will include 2 engaging activities per week. That means, are they able to apply what they learned? And then our third milestone is PLCs will revise lesson plans as noted on feedback provided by campus administrators and upload revised lesson plans to OneDrive. So now what we do is every Monday as an instructional leadership team is we pull everyone's lessons. And every Monday we look at lessons. We look at lesson plans for social studies, math, science, and we look for engagement pieces. We look for alignment. We look to see how it's being tested at the end of the progress, monitoring. So those are our 3 milestones for our first focus. Our next one is the objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. Teachers use reoccurring PLC meetings to collaboratively plan the application and connecting part of the lesson. And IoT gives feedback to teachers to help improve lessons. Our first milestone is the IoT will train teachers on lead forwards planning instruction to include engaging activities. ILT will develop a rubric in which to measure consistency of engagement activities across content areas. Our second milestone is our instruction leadership team will review lesson plans to ensure compliance with expectations on engaging activities. And then our third milestone is POCs will model engaging activities for upcoming lessons. And then, of course, just like Mr. Bonilla said, that data-driven instruction, that was a non-negotiable. We all have to include it in our focus area. I actually think that is an area in which we are very strong as a district. We look at data, we know how to look at data, we know how to apply data. It's teaching our teachers how to do that in their own capacity and being able to take their data and revolve it back into what they're teaching, okay? So we looked at that and we said our first milestone is teachers monitor students' progress after each RPA and develop a plan of action to ensure students' mastery of SEs to be submitted after the RPA. So if you're a teacher and you have a student that was not successful, what are you doing to go back to reteach that student? So there has to be some sort of action plan for that, because if you leave it up to the child and say, come to tutoring, no, that's your action plan. What are we going to do for that student to make sure that he gets the ability or the opportunity to be able to relearn it, okay? So we create action plans to reteach challenging student expectations based on data review meetings, and then teachers will guide students in setting SMART goals to monitor the progress after each RPA. What we found out is that students didn't have a goal. They just come, they take the test, oh, I made it this, and that was it. What we felt was missing was the accountability on students, as far as being able to track and promote that, hey, you did a good job. You know, you got 2 more points right. Look, let's track it. So giving them that ownership of this is my learning is an integral piece. So we're going to create SMART goals with our students based off of their own RPA benchmarks, and they will track them themselves. Okay.
All that is done, you have to account?
Yes. Well, they will have their little paper. We'll have it like, for them to track in their folders for each class. They have interactive notebooks that they use for the majority of their core classes, and then they would keep their tracking little paper in there. And every time they get an RPA, they're able to do a graph, and they're able to know exactly what their raw score was. Okay. And then the third milestone is teacher and students will track their progress towards meeting a measure of goal. So all teachers have a goal. They have a goal from one RPA to another. They just took an RPA. They know how they did as instructional leaders. They know that they had so many kids pass. So now they went back and they looked at the data and they're saying, okay, for social studies, my RPA, I had so many kids score this amount. I had this many kids miss by 2 or 3. So what is my goal for the next RPA? So they themselves set individual goals as well. So we will not be a D, I guarantee you. Okay? So that is my target improvement plan, and thank you very much.
Each of the cycles have your time frame, right?
Yes, yes, they have a time frame. They carry us through May. Yeah.
I had asked that I not go after Ms. Trev, but here I am. No choice, experience. So, good evening, I'm Ms. Ovas and members of the board and Mr. Chairman. Last year, Ortiz landed as a C with a 75, and this year we decided that it's reachable to get those 5 points and get ourselves to a B. I think Ms. Ceballos has said before, a C is passing, but it doesn't sit well the way the honor roll does with an A or a B. My targeted improvement plan begins with developing campus instructional leaders with clear roles and responsibilities. Being that I'm new to the campus and working with that team, and being that I'm also new to this role, but we have a strong campus at Ortiz. They're very strong. So it's just getting our styles together, and I thought putting that focus on them and as well as myself with our responsibilities, that this was a good goal. Our annual goal as an instructional leader team will add structure to 2 areas. First of all, leading our PLCs will lead to effective collaborative planning, data analysis, reteach plans, and meaningful feedback.
And that's, of course, building the team leaders that we have. Like I said, they're strong. Our teachers have been there for a long time, and they know what they're doing, but it's just building that confidence and that capacity. And then secondly, the campus administration will monitor and provide feedback and the implementation of that planning process. So our first milestone was to create a calendar with weekly meetings for ILT, PLC, and campus administrators that include PLC agenda walkthroughs and timely feedback. And then to revise the PLC agendas that include recommended timestamps so that the focus is on the effective instructional planning. We hear a lot in our PLCs that the time runs out, which how can that happen, right? They're from like 250 to 450, but sometimes the time just runs out. And we felt that kind of structuring the agenda and making sure that, okay, we're only spending a little bit of time on this and our bulk is on the actual instruction or on reviewing the assessment or looking at the assessment for next week so that we know that we're teaching in a meaningful way. Cycle 2 milestone for this first focus area is that ILT members will lead PLCs on a selection of engaging activities based on the forward apply it method. During, I guess it was during the summer. And then we've had 2 trainings on Lead Forward. Our district has spent a lot of money on that training. We know anything that comes from Lead Forward is good, it's strong, it's research-based. And since we're already doing that, I felt it kind of merged it together. And we would spend some of that time. Our teachers are good at so many things, but sometimes throughout the year, when you're rushing, you tend to leave out some parts, kind of like Meryl said. And so we wanted to put it in our plan so that we're targeting and we're focused and we're actually doing it. And just putting that focus and energy into that. Cycle 3 milestone was that campus walkthroughs and timely feedback will reflect implementation of the PLC process and engaging lessons. Our second focus area was that we would have objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessment, which is something we kind of already do. For me, and looking at our campus, I think it was things that we're already doing, but just being better at it and just cleaning it up and refocusing some things or changing little tweaks here that would make us that much better. Cycle 1 milestone, the principal will conduct a faculty meeting on expectations of daily objectives and lesson closure, which again is something the teachers do, but being meaningful with how they open their lesson, the objective, and making sure that our students know what the objective is and what it is that they're leaving the classroom with that day, what tools or what they had to demonstrate. ILT and principal will collect data on campus implementation of daily objectives and lesson closure. So apart from just us giving the feedback, we wanted to include the ILT team in going and talking with each other and looking at their peers and sharing as well, again, building them in their capacity. The cycle 2 milestone, which would be the next 3 months, would be PLC will utilize TEAC's resource system, IFD, to ensure alignment and rigor of activities and lessons. And then cycle 3 milestones would be observations of campus PLCs would reflect a culture of collaboration focused on student achievement. My vision for the campus is, like I said, they have a good culture. They're really good at some of the things they do, but I would love to see that it's just automatic. Automatic, we're looking at data. Automatic, we know how to look at a lesson and break it apart for all its things. Looking at our lesson plan template and looking at all the pieces that should be there and just being really good and fluid when we do that. Lastly is our data-driven instruction. The campus will be proficient at data desegregation to identify trends and misconceptions to determine root causes as to why students may not have learned the concept and create plans of actions to reteach. Students will track individual data towards meeting a measurable goal. So we know that good teaching, you teach something and then you assess to see where you're at and then you adjust. And then you teach something, you test, see where they're at and adjust. And so this kind of encompasses that portion of teaching. Our first milestone will be that teachers will monitor student progress after each RPA and district benchmarks, and we've already started that. We share our data together as a team on OneDrive, and we have student data from last year, how they performed last year, and then the RPAs that they just took are also on there. Teachers can see it's color-coded, so they can see students moving along in meets, masters, approaches, and do not meet. For cycle 2, we would corrective instructional action plans will be created after each RPA to spiral or reteach challenging student expectations, and students will use a tracking data form to monitor their progress toward meeting their goals. We know that students have ownership of their goals, and we know that they know where they're headed, and it's tailored to them. We have some students that, perform low, and so their goal is not going to be like a GT student. It's not going to be 100 or a 90 or an 80, but we can tailor their goals to something that's reachable and that shows growth. And then cycle 3, the campus data reflects a culture of effective planning and data-driven instruction. tutor, Ms. Ceballos.
Oh, we're gonna nominate for the girl.
That would be so cute.
Good evening, Board President, Board of Trustees, and Ms. Damasolis. I'm going to present to you tonight our tip for San Pedro Elementary. And our goal is that this year we're out of IR, which is wonderful. We received 68, we earned 68 out of 100. And so this year, our goal is to be a 75 out of 100. Should be a C, right? It should be a C. That's okay. That's okay. I mean, hey, I'm working towards a B, but why not? Why not? B for better. Okay, here we go. So when we got together, our focus area this year here at San Pedro Elementary is to develop campus instructional leaders with clear roles and responsibilities. And our annual goal is to develop a common language across grade levels to include data, curriculum, and instructional practices. Because we have only pre-K through third, we basically want to build that foundation that we're all using the same verbiage, that we know that we need to go from approaches to needs and masters. And we want to be able to use that same verbiage, not only in data, but also in curriculum and through our instructional practices. We have to build a very strong foundation in elementary to make sure that our third graders are prepared for their first test on START. So our cycle 1 milestones is we're going to create a calendar of set meeting dates and times for CLT members to disaggregate current data. So right now, basically, we have our meetings set after each RPA or CFA for third grade, and also our benchmarks. And we just currently had one. We had a little PLC for our CFA that we just took last week. We had some concerns with our CFA data, and we kind of adjusted. We looked at our lesson planning and said, did we actually meet what we expected, especially in RLA, it was reading. And we looked at it, and there was some discrepancies. So we're going to make some changes. Cycle 2, the milestone, our CLT members will lead vertical team planning meetings and guide data discussions around the big rocks on scheduled PLC after RPA data. And which this means that we have our second and third grade teachers that will be vertically aligning. They will be meeting together because we're small. I only have 2 third grade and 2 second grade. There's 2 in every grade level. However, because we want to make sure that we build a very strong second grade to have students ready for that third grade STAR assessment, there needs to be vertical alignment, and we need to all be on the same page. So they will be working together, and our third grade teachers will be leading that vertical alignment. Cycle 3 milestones, the principal and my CLT members will conduct instructional rounds to gauge campus practices and implementation of lesson cycles. We started the instructional rounds with the help of Lorena and also Amy and Lucas. We did that for RLA. Our next instructional round will be math. And so we did this, and we brought together the data that we collected, the qualitative data, and we looked at it, and we made some decisions that we really needed to harken and work on our environment for BLC, child's literacy. And so Amy Enriquez came in, and she did a small workshop during our Wednesday meeting, and we were working on the environment and making sure that we had a work board in place. That was just an example of one of our instructional rounds. Next, our next targeted focus area is objective-driven lesson plans with formative assessments, and our annual goal is targeted planning and implementation of student expectations at the level of state standards. Our first milestone, or cycle 1, is objective in classrooms will be written in I will, we will statements. And our I will is what you're going to, that is a student expectation the objective for the lesson. The we will is what are we going to create? And students, what is the product? How are we going to measure that students did learn the objective? What are they to create? Cycle 2 milestones, campus leader will meet with teachers to review lesson plans and provide feedback and lesson planning support. I called this my academic review support meetings. I have these every Friday, and we meet by grade level, and we review their lesson plans. Because if I wait till Sunday to review their lesson plans that they submitted, they're already online between Wednesday and Friday, then they don't have any time to go back and tweak or make any adjustments to the lesson plan. This way we discuss them, we go through each part of the lesson plan and make any adjustments that we feel that we need to in the area of the delivery of instruction. What will it look like? What is the outcome? What are students required to produce? Cycle 3 milestone, additional support will be provided to campus staff who are struggling with planning and tracking data. If we notice that there's a teacher who's having some type of trouble with analyzing her data or even tracking data with students, then we need to come back and provide that support by campus staff. And if I'm not able to do that, we bring extra support from CNI department. Focus area, data-driven instruction. Our annual goal is common understanding of how to interpret data, monitor, and adjust instructional strategies that will result in overall growth in student achievement. Our milestones is after every reporting period, RPA's data will be analyzed and corrective instructional plans will be developed. We'll go through the process and create a plan of action for SCs that are weak and that we need to work on, and then we'll also use that data to make sure that we make instructional decisions that we can actually incorporate during the embedded tutorials that we have daily and also after school during 21st century. Cycle 2 milestones, data room will be utilized to track student progress by levels of performance, approaches, needs, and masters. Each 6 weeks using RPA data for 2nd and 3rd grade students. Domain data will be tracked on benchmark assessments to gauge campus progress towards meeting overall domain goals. We have our data room that we track our student progress, and we also have our students track their progress by each student has a file folder of their RPAs and their benchmark results, and they will be able to gauge. And I think it's really, I know it's really important that we gauge our progress and that our students gauge their progress. Just like, right before I got here. I mean, when I got here, I was at 72 BPMs. When I'm here talking to you, I'm at 91 BPMs. So basically, I think that's important because as soon as I know that I sit down, my BPMs will be back at 72 or 75. So honestly, and if we gauge ourselves, which we should do, because health-wise, but I think children should understand what is their journey, what is their pathway. Should they be, if they see themselves that their first RPA they're at 55%. Well, they should know that that's not even a C, that's an F. So if I move up and they move to a 75%, then they know and they can gauge that they're actually moving up and they're making progress. So because they need to understand that it is important to make that grade. And I think if they understand their pathway, they'll know that they need to follow that pathway. Cycle 3 milestones. Classrooms will display data using student progress towards meeting class goals. This one we had a little problem with because we felt that we really don't want students to know the data, but I think data as a class, not with students' name on there, but that they know if the needle is moving from one RPA to another RPA. So that way we know that we're making progress towards our goal, which is student achievement on STAR. Any questions? None? Thank you. I'm now down to 82.
Good evening, Chairman Lopez, Mrs. Sillis, and Board of Trustees.
So we ended our year last year at a C rating with a 77, and our goal is to be at a B, as a B campus with an 84. Of course, we're striving for an A, but this is where we strategically work out our numbers and our magic numbers and where we want to fall. And with that being said, our 3 focus areas, and they're very similar, as you can tell. When we work together, we have an awesome, by the way, I love our leadership team. I love the support we have. We come together and we plan together and we bounce ideas off of each other. And when we started the process, we were very reflective in our practices, and we found that we do some things very, very well district-wide, and there's some things that we need to improve on as an individual, and then as a leadership team. And so you'll see some common strands here is what I'm trying to say. So the first area number 1 is develop campus instructional leaders with clear roles and responsibilities. And so there are 2 specific areas. We want them, our instructional leadership team, to lead those PLCs effectively through collaborative planning, data analysis, and reteaching plans. And then the second part is effective and regular ILT meetings so that they're more strategic in how we plan our time, including what you have frequently as our teachers. And so our first milestone is to create those roles and responsibilities using research best practices and input from the campus representatives. So it's one of the first things we did as a leadership team once we completed our target improvement process. We actually already defined our roles. And then the second milestone kind of leads into, okay, we're having our weekly ILT meeting, we're addressing campus data at every ILT meeting, whatever that data may be, and however small or however large that might be. And then we're taking that campus and classroom information and we're displaying that. We do have our data room, we have data walls in some classrooms. Our pre-K teachers have taken off that too. We have one representative from each grade level, so now our pre-K teachers have data walls in their classroom, which is awesome because we're only requiring for 2nd and 3rd, but we'd love to see it campus-wide. ILT members will analyze test results, and campus administrators will arrange walkthrough calendar to prioritize feedback to teachers with lower student mastery. And so we have done that, and I think we've done a very good job. And there's a lot of other things that are going on behind the scenes that aren't listed here, but we have revised our PLC agenda, for example, and it rotates. So week 1 and week 4, we're reflecting on data because we just gave our RPA and we just gave our CFA. So that's the focus. We never ever stop looking at instruction, what's coming up the next week, and what are we going to be focused on in learning and teaching our students, and what are their expectations, and we never leave off guided reading and intervention, but the chunk of time that we spend the most time on changes. So week 1 and 4 is data. Week 2 and 5, we do learning walks together because we can learn from each other. So I take my team, my grade level teams, and we walk to the classrooms, and we reflect on what did you see? What did you see that was well? What can we learn from that? What are some takeaways? And what feedback can we as a team give back to that teacher? And then weeks 3 and 6, we are doing unpacking the TEKS so that they become familiar, especially because we have new RLA standards. We want them to become very familiar with knowing the standards and how it's supposed to be taught and what's supposed to be taught. Second focus area is objective-driven lesson plans with formative assessments, and I jumped into this already, but we are using our recurring PLC meetings to collaboratively plan parts of the lesson, conduct data analysis, and plan for intervention. And like I said, our ILT members are getting feedback in those PLC meetings. They are leading those meetings. They're part of the instructional learning walks. We begin with our first milestone of making sure that we're all aligned. We have our I will and we will statements, and that those are tied directly to the objectives. And that the second milestone is that our weekly PLC meetings focus on closure and evidence of learning or reviewing lesson plans. And then our third milestone is that instructional calendars will have targeted student expectations and student groupings based on data analysis. Now, we're probably already doing components of these, but when we get to cycle 2, we want to make sure we're doing that very well and that we become experts, all of us, before we move on to cycle 3. But I'm telling you, we're already doing a little bit of everything because we need to. And then the third focus area is data-driven instruction. So evidence of live data-driven instruction practices will occur after the district assessment across grade levels during PLC meetings. So we've already revised our ILT and PLC agenda to include data components. We have our plan of actions for cycle 2. Plan of actions are developed based on the data to include interventions and supports for all students. And our campus and classrooms display that student progress for measurable goals. We also share, I call it my RTI student data tracker, that's shared in our OneDrive. So each grade level, we sat together the first time, and now the teachers as a grade level team maintain and update how the students are performing on iStation reading, on iStation math, and we come together once in 6 weeks to review. Cycle 3, all students in grades 2nd and 3rd will track their own data and regularly
really show their, to help them really show their progress and actually give them, like we've already heard before, what are they striving for, what are their goals, what are they attainable, and how can we help them get there. And then teachers are tracking student data on their content and progress pre-K to third grade. So that's the question.
On your data room, like how the teachers go in there all the time?
All the time. We have PLC meetings in there. So it's a little different. K through second grade, we're focused on reading on grade level, math on grade level, so iCision math and iCision reading is what their data charts are. So each student has a data card, and if they fall, like their tier 1, that's like our master. Their tier 2, that's like our tier 3, you know, their approaches or below approaches. And third grade is specifically tied to STAR, which is master reads, approaches, and then below approaches.
Okay.
And they shift. We want to see them shift up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw yours in the first week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Along those lines, Ms. Solomon, I would like to share with you, Dr. Moreno has shared that we have our principals meetings. He'd like for us to go have our principals meetings at the campuses so that we can learn from each other. We're going to start off at Lots Beach. We have our principals meeting at each campus because there's so much that we can learn from one another, you know, through this whole process. And then move our principals meetings to the different campuses so the principals can share with us, you know, like their data or what we're doing.
An observation and engaging with them and
Learn
learn
from each other.
Great.
Okay, so the next two campuses, like Ms. Rivas had mentioned before, they are here because they also went through the process, however, they do not necessarily need for the people tonight. Okay? And so we'll go with Thompson High School.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Sherman, and Ms. Evans, and colleagues. Roxanne Running College High School, our goal is to go from an 83 to an 88, but that does not mean that we're not going to reach for the A. So,
That's top level.
yes. Our target improvement plan, our focus areas to develop campus instructional leaders with clear roles and responsibilities. And our goal is, in order to meet the domain goals for Robson College High School, student achievement must increase. And our first milestone is one of the things that is new to Robson ISD is the TICS resource system. So we want to make sure that it is implemented to complete, that everybody uses it, because that's the way that we're going to ensure instructional lessons will be aligned to the supporting standards and rigor needed to increase student performance. The second milestone is the implementation of the TICS resource system, and it's going to be evident through our walkthroughs that we do, the administrators. And then the third one is the teachers can plan and deliver high quality instruction at the level of rigor equal to the state standards. And we know that in using the TICS resource system, we'll be able to ensure all this. The second focus area is objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. And the way we plan to do this is that systems will be implemented so that our CHS instructional leadership team can provide feedback on instructional practices such as planning for PLCs, lesson plans, and the use of instructional resources. I want to go back to what one of our colleagues said, Ms. Actually all of us. When we went through this process, it was very rigorous for all of us. You know, Ms. Eva sat down with us, and so did Ms. Ceballos, and we all worked together as a team, and we learned from each other. So, like Angel was saying, a lot of the activities that we're doing, we're all doing them, all the campuses. You know, the focus is a little bit different for each one of us, but this was a very thorough process that we went through. The training was. And what we put together is based on bouncing ideas off of each other and looking at our own individual campus. But one of the things that we found in reflecting on that I found in PLCs, we really need to, in our campus, focus more on TEKS to make sure that they're being covered in depth and that the instructional resources and strategies are used, and also in reviewing student data. We review a lot of student data. Believe me, the B that we scored it was hard to get. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of intentional hard work. And, you know, one of the things that we plan to do differently this year with our instructional team is not just the principal and the assistant principals, it's the department heads as well. So we're giving them the responsibility to help monitor themselves and their colleagues. And, you know, I don't know if they're gonna like it, but, you know, guess it's hard, but they have really stepped up to the plate, and that's a different focus that we have this year. The second milestone is the high quality lessons that we're gonna be able to see it through their lesson plans and the walkthrough data. And the third one is that the instructional leadership team will support teachers in implementing effective teaching strategies to meet the student needs. And I know you all sound like you've heard the same thing over and over. On data-driven instruction, student achievement will increase with the implementation of consistent data tracking practices to ensure effective instructional decisions are made. I think one of the things, as I discussed this with the team back at campus, as the principal and assistant principal, and of course with Mr. Bonilla, we knew what we were doing, and I'm not sure that our teachers knew where we were heading. We knew the scores, we had goals, they knew how many students needed to be at meetings and, you know, approaches and so forth, but they didn't see the vision that we saw. And this year we plan to change that. Now, we have covered a lot of very detailed information, very simple PowerPoints, because the accountability system is a very complex system to understand. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle. So we're trying very hard to bring so they can understand what it is that the goal is and how we're going to get there specifically. Okay, so Ross Community College High School staff will use a variety of data reports and tracking forms to increase student achievement. The second milestone is that the instructional leadership team will help teachers disaggregate current data and plan for spiraling of the TEKS and interventions. And then the third one is that teachers will guide students to set their own instructional goals for their individual progress by using the tracking form. We developed a very simple tracking form where last year I can say that the majority of our teachers used it with their students, but not all of them. So this year we want to make sure that it's implemented with fidelity. So basically it's just a chart and having those meaningful conversations with students. You scored a 61 last time, and now you scored a 40. What happened? And these conversations will lead to the students saying, well, you know, we're homeless or lost a member of the family. That has a lot of impact in students. And if the teacher doesn't know that, well, then we have to, those are important conversations that we have to know. Any questions?
Last but not least.
This is the last one that you can close session. No questions. Okay, so again, going through a lot of what we talked about, we worked very well on this, and we did share a lot of different ideas. So going through, sorry about that. Our campus goal for next year, we did drop a little bit last year. We went down to 77. We were still at C, high C, but we want to get back into the B range, and at least maybe 3, if not 4, for next year. And that's what our plan is with our target improvement plan. So our first focus area is campus instructional leaders, principal, assistant principal, counselor, teacher leaders have clear roles and responsibilities. Our annual goal for that is to have campus instructional leaders that are going to create a system that will allow them to adhere to a calendar that is where time is scheduled for teachers with instructional practices delivery in the classroom and in PLCs. I think a lot of times it gets busy on campuses, and we're not able to provide that support as much as we'd like, and that's something that we know we need to improve on. So our first milestone in cycle 1 is to actually create an administrative calendar that includes those scheduled times and assignments for not only walkthrough through also our grade level PLCs to make sure that we're there to go ahead and provide support. We're there in our PLCs, but we need to make sure that we're able to spread our wealth and go ahead and provide support to our instructional leaders within those PLCs so they can go ahead and give the kind of support that we would give if we were there. Second milestone, schedule conferences with teachers as needed to review instructional strategies in the classroom, develop a plan of action, and improve student learning. And then our cycle 3 milestone is after campus assessments, make sure that campus instructional leaders, that's all of them, and teachers meet to disaggregate data and analyze how the results contribute to the campus goal. Our second focus area is objective-driven daily lesson plans with formative assessments. As we had talked about earlier, we do have a new lesson plan template this year that goes a lot deeper with the rigor than what we're looking at with our student learning and also with our instruction. So it's definitely a focus area for us, and we want to make sure that everybody on our campus is able to not only understand what the lesson plans look like, but make sure that the instructional delivery is also following on that. So our lesson plans will be submitted and reviewed in a timely manner that allows for opportunity for feedback to the teachers that addresses the level of rigor and scaffolding to provide student support in their learning. And the feedback to the teachers was probably the biggest thing. I think we have teachers doing a great job making sure that they're getting lesson plans weekly, but making sure that we're able to give that feedback in a timely manner so that they're able to make those adjustments on those lesson plans. So our cycle 1 milestone is a walkthrough data submitted on Eduphoria that displays the feedback on scope and sequence and level of rigor that are exhibited in the lesson plans. Make sure that we tie those things in when we're actually in the classroom. Our cycle 2 milestone, our revised PLC agenda to include areas for instructional delivery and strategies to reach that student level of rigor. And our cycle 3 milestone is to make sure that we're conducting those classroom walkthroughs that focus on that level of rigor during that instruction by the time we get to it at the end. And then our last focus area was that data-driven instruction. That's something that we had to include going through the effective schools framework process. So our annual goal, this was really tied to our reading. Our reading scores were, that was the area that really dropped us last year as far as our accountability score and brought us back into the C range. So that's something that we really took the data-driven instruction apart with something that we're implementing this year with our balanced literacy and making sure that we're bringing that back in the right way. So we talked about our annual goal, a system of tracking student reading levels that displays evidence of student progress in all teachers' classrooms at the beginning, middle, and end of the school year. So our milestones for that in cycle 1, we want to make sure that teachers have necessary training, to make sure that they're going to understand the balanced literacy process, and make sure that they're able to implement that in the classroom, and they're able to access the guided reading strategies at any time. The cycle 2 milestone, making sure that we're having binders, again, that's that data-driven instruction, to make sure that we're looking at the running records, making sure that we're looking at the progress levels of the students as they're going through their guided reading lessons, and making sure that we're providing that support to those students. And then our cycle 3 milestone is basically to look at, we're using iStation, and we're using our beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of year tests. We do it every month, but that's what we're using to go ahead and look at our reading levels for all of our grade levels. And that's within our campus goals. We're looking at that, but making sure we're looking at that for our kinder and second grade levels. So look at those reading levels. Any questions?
So as you all heard, there's some common threads across what we're doing in the district. So our focus is to build capacity, not with our campus leadership team, but of course with our teachers, our PLC members, our IoT members, as well as to focus on what is being taught and then to make sure that it's at the rigor of the state standards so we can see our student achievement improve, and also to track our goals and our progress by looking at our data and making sure that there's a tracking system and that there's fidelity to our practices at the campus level. All right.
Question. So, special ed, what was our score for special ed? Because I know for several years we had a met standard, right? Is it not tracked like that anymore?
They still track it. We haven't met PB-MAS. We've, in the past years, but PB-MAS has now changed to IDA, which is something brand new. When we set performance objectives for special ed this past year, you'll see that when we bring our district goals and district improvement plan, we did make some good gains in special ed this past year in some particular grade levels throughout the district. Are we where we need to be? No, not yet. But are we moving in the right direction? Yes. And I think we're also going to be selected to pilot pilot this new process in the state, and we just had a conference call last week. Ms. Kay, Dr. Ceballos, and myself with TEA and representatives from the Service Center to help guide us through the pilot project in special education. So, in answer to your question, we will have performance objectives that we'll be bringing forward to you in the November meeting that specifically target special education.
Okay, I would like to see, I feel like we never say anything until we don't meet. Don't meet standards, and I think that it's very important, they're part of our.
Oh, yes, yes, and they are.
And we have a leader, and we have staff, and we have it also.
When we met with our DIC council, 2 weeks ago, and we shared with them the district performance objectives that were approved last year, and we shared with them the results of where we're at. We were going to take that back to council again before the November meeting, because we're having to set those performance objectives. And you'll see where we're setting the performance objectives not only for all students, but then we specifically have a special focus on special education, and you'll see that, so we can have an idea.
Right, and then the report, right?
Yes.
So the principals reporting for the special ed.
This is for all students.
Right. Personally, I would like to see something for special ed up there, just because, like, they're doing it on their own, correctly?
Yes. So for the state accountability, they are a group that is looked at through the 3. And so just like the Hispanic group, our all student group, our EL group, and so our EcoDis group, they're one of those groups, as long as we meet minimum size criteria, which is 25 tests or more.